everyone, today we're talking about Street Hawk, created by Robert Wolterstorff, Paul M. Bellis and Bruce Lansbury. There is a single season of 13 episodes of 46 minutes and a pilot of 72 minutes. Jesse Mach is a motorcycle trooper with the Los Angeles Police Department. After an accident, he is recruited by a secret section of the government. He will have to ride the Street Hawk, a high-tech motorcycle designed by Norman Tuttle to help the police arrest criminals. But for the latter, he is considered an outlaw vigilante. Jesse Mach, played by Rex Smith, is a 29-year-old police officer who loves motorcycle sports and is a very good driver. It is thanks to these driving skills that Norman Tuttle recruits him to drive the Street Hawks. He's a hothead. He takes all the risks to succeed in his missions, but the two men will read a strong friendship over the course of the series. He hides his identity as a Street Hawk pilot, and when he's not on his motorcycle, he's a police public relations officer. He'll soon become an inspector. Subsequently, Norman Tuttle, played by Joe Regalbuto, is a government engineer on the Street Hawk and the project of his life. He wants to equip all police units in America with them, hence his adherence to strict protocol. He is always in contact with Jesse Mach to help him with his missions and make sure that everything runs smoothly. But Jesse gives him cold sweats when he notices the way he rides the bike without paying too much attention to it. Captain Leo Altobelli, played by Richard Venture, is Jesse Mach's superior. When he's not on his bike, he doesn't like the Street Hawk. He thinks he's a hindrance to the police in his job more than anything else. Rachel Adams, played by Jeannie Wilson and Jesse's colleague in the police public relations department. The Street Hawk is a high-tech super motorcycle equipped with a laser, machine guns, and rockets for its weapons and a super variable suspension jump, a hyperboost that can only be activated by Norman Tuttle from his command station, and it allows him to reach 500 kilometers per hour. He has speed brakes to stop in 2 meters, and thanks to Jesse Mach's talent as a pilot, he will be able to do loops by combining the super jump and the air brake. For the series they used 3 motorcycle models of different: a Honda XL 500S from 1983. For the pilot episode, 3 Honda XR 500s from 1984. For close-ups, and 11 Honda CR 250s from 1984, for doing the stunts. The motorcycle of the pilot episode was imagined by the designer Andrew Probert, who has already worked on Airwolf, Star Trek, and many other things, and it will be Gene Winfield who will have the task of building the motorcycles. Ron Cobb redesigned the bike for the other episodes. All the parts of the motorcycles were molded in fiberglass, which made filming very complicated because the parts would come off at the slightest stunt or too high a speed. The 2 film crews were forced to coordinate to be able to carry out the repairs on the motorcycles and continue the filming. 6 motorcycles were always ready with the stunt team. There was a parts shop that was 5 kilometers away from the studios, and they were the ones who took care of supplying the wheels and frames for the stunt bikes. And it was Winfield Special Projects in Canoga Park that made all the carbon fiber parts, and as a subscriber pointed out to me on the French video in the comments, the bike was inspired by the one used by James Bond in Never Again Ever. Honda wanted to sue the producers of the series because they felt that the Street Hawk name was too close to one of their motorcycle models called Nighthawk, and they dropped all lawsuits when the series was cancelled due to lack of ratings. In the United States, an episode of the series cost about $850,000 to produce, which must not have helped to sustain it. In addition to they made it compete with Airwolf and Knight Rider. Rex Smith received a gold record for his song, "You Take My Brave Away," and yes, he started as a dancer, singer in the musical Louise, and made a musical career alongside that of acting. 14 of the 15 motorcycles in the series are still nowhere to be found today. The only one that remains was bought on eBay for $12,000 by the former stuntman of the series. The beginning of the episode says that Jesse Mach was injured during an intervention, but in the pilot episode we see that Mach was suspended from his duties for several weeks, and that's when a criminal attack took place during the episode. A motocross race, and Jesse injured his knee. Rex Smith was a very good biker. He was the one who rode the motorcycle on most of the scenes on screen, and he is only doubled for the dangerous stunt scenes. George Clooney auditioned for the role of Jesse Mach. He was Robert Wolterstorff's first choice, but ABC didn't want him. Instead, they gave him a role in the second episode. Don Johnson was also approached for the role of Jesse, but he had been cast on a series shortly before Miami Vice. The series should have been called Falconer, but another. The series that year had the same title, and I think it's fortunate because it doesn't necessarily sound very good in French. Jane Modian, who plays Jesse's co-worker in the pilot, was replaced by Jeannie Wilson for the role of Rachel Adams in the rest of the episodes, as the producers felt that Jane Modian was too young to play the character. One of the producers, Burton Armis, thought Rex Smith was far too nice to play the role compared to the charismatic David Hasselhoff and Jan-Michael Vincent, who were successful in their respective series, Knight Rider and Airwolf. The series was broadcast in India on the Doordarshan channel in the 1990, and it was a big hit among teenagers to the point that the bicycle brand Hercules created a mountain bike named Street Cat especially for them. The series has seen some guest stars appear in its episodes, such as Christopher Lloyd as a villain in the pilot episode, George Clooney as Jesse's friend in the second, Joanna Kearns and Charles Napier in the 9th episode, Gregory Itzin in the 4th episode, and Dennis Franz in the 12th. Here is a bonus anecdote that comes to me from a subscriber who reruns the series in the early 90s in England. A teenager fell in love with this series, and there was a resemblance to Rex Smith. He would later learn from his mother that it was indeed his father. She was the band's press officer in the 70s, and she frequented it, and he met his son, Brandon Smith, at a Sunset Boulevard musical on Broadway while signing autographs. And now they have a close relationship, and they've had several projects together after that. There is a video game released in 1986 on Amstrad CPC developed by Ocean Software. It is a top-down racing game and you can download it for free, link in description, and there is also the motorcycle that has been modded for the GTA 5 game. That's all I found for video games. For books, there are some in Great Britain. There are 4 novels based on the episodes that have come out published by Target Books. The first is Street Hawk by Jack Roberts, adapted from the pilot. The second is Cons at Large by Jack Roberts, adapted from 2 other episodes, The Adjuster and The Unsinkable 453. The third is called Golden Eyes by Charles Gale, adapted from the episodes Follow the Yellow Gold Road and Dog Eat Dog, and the fourth, In Danger on Target by David Deutsch, which also adapted. Episodes Murder is a novel idea and hot target of the series, so there's nothing original about it. There are 5 books with comic books, coloring pages, and games inside. They were published in 1985 by Egmont Publishing. So on this series there are quite a few toys and merch. We can find audiobooks, puzzles, figures with the vehicles and other items. There is even a G.I. Joe figurine of the motorcycle with Jesse in his suit released. In India, it's a modified Snake Eyes sold under the name Street Hawk. It goes to show that a small series can have a lot of merchandising, which makes you think that it was really stopped in a hurry. The producers had a longer-term vision. The theme song is surely the element that made the most impression on viewers at the time. It is played by the band Tangerine Dream. The song is called The Park, inspired by a public garden in Los Angeles. It can be found on the album of the same name, The Park, released in 1995. There are a lot of covers of this music on the internet. I put some of them in a playlist that goes with it. Video. For the rest of the music, it was Donald Woods and James E. Morris who took care of it, and there are other Tangerine Dream songs also in the soundtrack. This series has aged well. It holds up by the comparison with Knight Rider and Airwolf, which is why it was stopped after 1 season. At the time there was too much competition with the Super Machine series. The special effects are seen a lot with the use of time-lapse video to make us believe that the bike is going at 500 kilometers per hour. But I still recommend her. Does it last very long? 13 episodes. It brings a big burst of nostalgia, and the music of the credits puts us directly in the mood. By the way, it's a shame that they don't make it into a movie or another series. It deserves to come back on our screens, or to be adapted in another format like the other Super Machine series that is missing on TV. With the special effects that we can do in our time, it could look like a lot so bad. If it was well written, of course. Well, as usual, you will find the links in description to the playlist. To to the DVDs if you want to get them. There's no Blu-ray yet. Don't forget about comments, shares, subscriptions, thumbs, and if not, I'll tell you in the next video. Bye bye.